So hello and welcome to Arts and Wellness Café. Welcome to the start of the month. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So for those of you who are new here, every month I do Arts and Wellness Café, and throughout the month anyway, I'm sharing on YouTube, but throughout the month I join you and we look at some of the things that have been happening. We focus on some things. We have a word for the month. And what else? Yeah, I share some of my work. We do a video on an art journal video. We look at some stitched pieces. We look at a book review. So many things packed up into the month that it's only right that you should get the opportunity to savor it. And it's definitely a savoring activity for me as I look over what's coming for the week. So, are you ready? So the word for today, the word for the month, is delighted. Now, it's December, yeah, so we know what's coming. And Christmas celebrations, families hopefully getting together, but with new reports of what's been happening globally. It's just like, you know, what is going to happen, a border's closing or whatever. And so we have to think about, well, what if, the what if situation. So delighted is how, for me, it's about even the smallest thing can bring some delight. And I find it, especially like when I go out into the garden, when I look at the plants, the flowers, the seeds that I find, the seeds that the birds drop that grow into a plant, or I'm in my studio and I'm creating, and then suddenly I get a burst of inspiration, and it's such a pleasure and a joy. Or if you share work or you see work by other artists, or you share your own work, then it's a feeling of, you know, just a feeling of joy, and it's a lasting one until the next time. So are there aspects of your creativity that are making you feel delightful? And if not, what can you do to put in place? And it's really key for us to think about all the words that I share. It's key for us to think about all the words that I share. I think about them on a daily basis because words have power, and the words that we speak over our lives can impact on our, you know, mental well-being, our feelings of inadequacy. And, you know, if you're speaking positive words over your life, then you feel more, you know, I'm ready to face the world, I can do it, you know, I've got this, I'm, you know, fulfilling my purpose, I'm being who, where, thought that was earlier, sorry, I'm feeling who and where I'm supposed to be. So earlier we had a bee in here, or a wasp. It was just like, there's no nest in here, okay? And it disappeared, so it was just like, okay, I thought it was over there by the window. Anyway, so what is bringing you joy, what's making you feel delightful, and what can you do about it? And throughout the rest of the month, how can you bring joy and delight for other people? There are so many people who are normally isolated. If, you know, things close down, what does that then mean for them? What has that meant over the last 2 years for people who are normally isolated, and then over the series of events that happened become even more so? You don't even see the postman, you know. It's just that used to be it was funny at one point when I was a new mother. I felt that, and it was just like day in, day out, I just had, you know, this baby to there didn't seem to be any adult conversation. and so when the postman went to drop, before he had a chance to drop the letter and run off, I'd be opening the door. Oh, hello, how are you doing? Oh, how's it going? So it might not have been that for him, you know. It's just like,
you know, oh my gosh, let me just see if I can open the letterbox without it making a sound.
But as I say, there are so many people isolated that you don't know that it could be your neighbour. It could be your neighbour that you haven't seen for a while. You know, it may be time to, you know, extend that hand and knock on the door, or for the creatives, you know, make a card, a gift card, and put it in their mailbox. You know, some people are not receiving mail. The only mail they receive are bills. So what can you do to bring that delight to somebody? People are so used to saying Happy Christmas through text or WhatsApp. You know, there's still people that send cards and use slow mail. But for a lot of people, they don't even get that. The only thing they get in the post is a bill. And nobody's sending cards anymore because they've got emails, but this person doesn't have email. So, you know, what will it take to... I used to say to my son, just fold up a piece of paper and create an image on it. You know, it's better than doing nothing. So what can you do? That's something that I really want you to ponder over and think about what you can do in the next few weeks. And as I say, it doesn't have to be, you know, you might say to yourself, well, I don't have a load of art supplies to whatever. A couple of bits of paper, fold them over, you know, fold over a piece of paper and make a card. Say Happy Christmas, do a scene on it, you know, even if you've only got crayons or pencils or whatever, or write a note. You know, it doesn't have to be a card, it can be like a tag or a little note card or whatever. So see what you can do, and I want you to take this word throughout the month, yeah, and see how every day there is something that brings you delight, and every day what can you do to pass it on to somebody else. Okay? Yes, what we're going to do now is a journal page from a journal that I'm working in. It's from a course I'm going to be bringing out called Fill in the Creative Well. So Fill in the Creative Well is all about finding the tools that we need to stay creative, to inspire us, to motivate us, especially when you feel there's nothing else around you. And it's developing these, I've developed these little exercises that you can do and things that you can create. It's a 4-week course. It's self-directed, but it's to help you identify things that you can create, and we create in the class. And the journal is one of the things that we make. So we're going to take a look at the journal, and I will do a quick flip through and show you some of the techniques that I've used on the page. Yeah? So you're only going to get a brief overview. You see the journal, but there's some things that you may be able to use as a taster while you're thinking about doing the course. Okay, so come on, let's go. What are you doing there? Come on, we've got to get ourselves together. Okay, so this is the journal that we make in the class, and I just wanted to give you a little sneak peek, and it's the class is called Fill in the Creative Well. Now, the whole point of this journal, it's just a composition notebook, and what we've done is in the class I show you how I would cover it, and over the weeks we decorate it with things that are speaking to us. So words are very powerful for me, so I'm always trying to incorporate encouraging words, and you will see in many of the things that I do, it's either a word for the week, word for the month now, and it's about what can you give yourself to encourage yourself. So this is my start to fill in my well, and putting in not only notes to myself. As I do one of the sessions, I write a note to myself and I talk about, well, what did I learn from that? What did I take away from that? Yes, I'm creating these courses, but I still need to go through, I still need to fill my own well, otherwise I'll get depleted. So it's about me thinking about those things for myself as if I was a student. I think we're always going to be students, and so one of the things for me is colour, the words I use, creating backgrounds, using my supplies, and not thinking that the supplies have to be these ultra expensive, wrapped in gold foil kind of tools, but you use what you have, and if you can afford more, then you get what you can, but if you can't, don't feel bad about it. So you can adapt the things that you've got. So I've only done a couple of pages, but one of the things that I've gone and done is prepped some of my pages, so that's what I wanted to show you. So there are ways using backgrounds, and the backgrounds for this course, I've got some other backgrounds on my Etsy store which I will link to, that you can take a look at, but the backgrounds for this course will be available in a mini class, but I've gone through and just added washi tape, different types of washi tape, different types of backgrounds, papers, bits of paper that I've written on, some I've written on, but different types of prompts and words that I've got on cards, and stuck it throughout the book. So when I come to the book, I'm not seeing any blank space. What I'm seeing is a page with potential prompts on there for me, and I'll be able to, when I come to it, it's just like I'm excited already, because I've got stenciled paper here. It's got gold and bronze and purple, and it's got some stenciling on, and then I can start going in with, as I say, what I've learned from the course, what I'm learning from the course, from that particular lesson. And so I've gone throughout the book, either stuck down washi tape or bits of paper that I've decorated, and these can also, I can put quotes on here. The course has daily prompts and daily words that you can use, and you can stick them in the book and then talk about what that word means for you. And so I can write something like this: says, proceed with confidence, believe that you have the ability to manifest something in your life. So filling the creative well is all about us going through the process, going through the exercises, and filling our kit with, now you've got your journal, you've got your words, encouraging words, you've got your prompts, you've got your collages. We do colouring pages, we create our collages, and we've got affirmations, audio. There's so many things that are part of the course. And it's going to be more of a reminder, because I've got the visual as well as the words and all the things that I'm going to create from the course. Okay, so that's Filling the Creative Well. I do hope you take a look at it, check it out, and see what you can pre-order it now. More information is going to be going up, but you can pre-order it and get the early bird price. Okay, so let us move on. Okay, that is Filling the Creative Well. It's already, and I haven't even gone into week 1. This was just the let's, you know, sort out our journal and get it into that kind of yummy state that when we actually start writing and journaling in it, you know, the impact is just, you know, tenfold. So, but I'll leave the link to my Etsy store, and you can see some of the other background pages that I've done that you can download and use. And I've also done my first mandala and affirmations colouring book, so I'm quite pleased with that. But we're going to be doing weekly colouring pages from it. So I didn't realise how soothing it could be. So with the colouring pages, I used to just think, really? So what now? But with the ones that I've created, you can then go on and use them in your journal. You can, you know, and that's the best place to put them. For me, anyway, you can cut them up, you can add them to background pages and incorporate them in your designs. So do check it out and let me know what you think. So one of the other things that I would like to show you, you're going to see a few things, and I recently got back into painting. I've got a couple of canvases that have just been, yeah, they're waiting to be finished, but I never got round to it. So I made some time recently, and I've brought the painting. Should we have a look? I brought them back to a space where, as soon as I finished with this online course and the other things that I need to do this month, I will be, I'll be finding time each week to spend on these paintings because I want them finished before the end of December. So let's go and have a look, and I'll show you. Here is, so you get a little bit of a view of my studio, and here's the girls, ladies, and it's 36 by, I think it's 36 by 24 or something like that, or 40 by 30. But yeah, they're coming on. As I said, there was 2 paintings. That's the other one sitting over in the corner. But this one is actually using oil paints. So I'm going to finish that one first and then come back to this one. But I felt it needed brightening up, so that's what I'm going to be doing with that. I like where it's got to so far, but I want to take it to the finishing line. So well, you see 2 paintings today. So these are my ladies, and I've been using I was experimenting with some of the tissue. These are my stamps that I created. So inspired conversations, and I'm feeling them really. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to bringing them totally to life and sharing that with you. So I hope you enjoy. You can see some of my other artwork, and I'll leave the link to my website, which is under construction, but you will be able to see some of the artwork. But well, she looks like she's looking at you. She's definitely looking over there because something caught her eye. But this young lady oh dear. Okay, let's get back. That's the thing about mixed media. It's just like I love creating, And so you will find me in many things, but it does bring me joy. Somebody asked me, did I feel a way about, because I was talking about some of the courses that I create, and the question was something like, do you feel that it takes away from your painting? And because I wasn't expecting the question, but the more I thought about it, it was just like, no, because I love creating. I didn't realize how much I love creating courses until this particular course that I'm in the middle of creating for you, Filling the Creative Well. I really didn't, I've done it for the past 5-6 years, but I really didn't grab the fullness of creating a course from start to finish, with all the bits in between, and making sure that you get all the things that you need from the course, and you come out. And the Filling the Creative Well was something that I've myself have needed, that this is the way that I operate. This is the way that when I'm trying to encourage myself, I seek out words, I listen to encouraging things, I create in my journal, I journal, write, and I think, I reflect. And all of this is important, and for some people they've not been given the tools to be able to do that. So that's what I wanted to do, give you the tools to be able to create and develop and change your mindset, your perspective of things, while being creative, and while hearing you're beautiful, while hearing you can do this, while hearing you've got so much talent within you. If you do not have somebody to tell you those things, I'm here to tell you, you're awesome, you're wonderful, you can do it. Okay, so when answering that question, it was just like, I get to work on so many different creative projects. Time is one of those things that everybody has the same amount of time, but it depends on how you use it. And I guess for a lot of artists who also have to think, well, how do you pay your bills? Obviously, you've got to think about those things and try and find the balance. Yeah. Now, the next thing would have been the stitch project, but I'm going to leave the stitch project to the end. Do you like my vintage necklace? I've had this for, what are we now? Let me think, count back. But I've had this for over 30 years, and it always seems to, I don't know whether you know what that expression is, but too much to wear. I never had the right kind of outfit to wear it. I'm not saying that it's black and white, but I was just like, if you're not like going out and all of this, why not wear it? No, why not wear it now? So I thought, yes, okay, so we'll bring her out and she can meet you guys, say hello. But tip for the week. Tip for the week. Tip for the week. But it's not tip for the week, is it? It's tip for the month. Tip for the month doesn't sound as good as tip for the week. Anyway, so the tip for the week could be this week. The tips for the week, the tip for the weeks, is nurture yourself. Yeah? Nurture yourself. We're coming up to, we're coming up to another year where possibly you may not be able to visit loved ones, or your loved ones will be, isolated, or we're kind of keeping our ears to the ground to see what the situation might be. But you need to find ways to nurture yourself. You need to find ways to speak life into your situation. You need to be able to encourage yourself. So it might be that you take time out. That those candles that you wanted to buy them. You know, that, I don't know, scented bath oil, or, you know, the perfume. You know, if you can afford it, buy it. Don't get yourself into debt. Don't put it on your credit card. You want to be free from debt. But think about the simple things that you can do that will bring joy into your life. Think about, you know, spending time doing something creative. So nurture yourself, yeah? So one of the ways that you can nurture yourself is to sign up for the Filling Your Creative Well, and that will take care of 1 through to 25. Anyway, so what we're going to have a look at now is the book review, Collage Unleashed. Now, if you're new to collage, it's got lots of tips in it that you can, you know, develop your collage fodder and create some collages. So let's go and have a look at this book and see what you think. Collage Unleashed. Paint, bind, stitch, play. Tracy Batiste. Unleash your creative spirit with freeform collage. Leave what you know about collage behind and take your artwork and creative expression into a world without limits, the unbridled world of Collage Unleashed. Discover collage's playful side as you gather your crayons, paints and other favourite materials. Explore the freedom you had creating art as a child again. Okay, here it is, Collage Unleashed. So the thing that drew me first, I first came across Tracy Batiste with her videos making paper and creating art journals. And let's go to the content. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chapters, and it looks like there's a variety of different techniques for you to do in each of the chapters. So she talks about playing every day, and the other thing I like about her books is the amount of colour that she uses, and it does encourage you to play. The only thing that I find is the different type fonts. There's so many different type fonts. For me it's a little bit distracting, but get past that and think about the projects that you're going to be doing. So she goes through a variety of different things that you can do, and you're encouraged to maybe set aside some time, because you have to, when you're doing things like dyeing, it's going to take more, it's more than a 40-minute or a 20-minute session. It's a few hours you're going to need to kind of, you know, from the setup to experimenting so widely. So here you're setting up the dyes, you're folding the fabric and doing that kind of method, you're scrunching and dip method, freezing dryer paper and splashing on dyes. So she goes through a lot of different techniques. Here we've got using crayons, and then she gives you alternative tools for painting. And as I say, for me, this is having all of these different type fonts is a bit, I like a bit more order. And then she gives you this says surface design on fabric, all the different examples of ways in which she has altered fabric or paper, and they're things that you can try. So let me just take number 13 here. Paper towels wet with dye placed between 2 pieces of drawing paper. So that's easy for you to think, okay, well, let me try and recreate that. And as we go through the book, there's a lot more things that you can try. And as I say, it's, you know, you have to spend a bit of time in advance. There are some, there's quite a few beginner techniques that you can try, but where it calls for, say, a sewing machine to be filled with certain materials, you need to have an understanding of how to thread and attention. But that's Collage Unleashed. So, what did you think? Yeah? Join me on Thursdays, because what I normally do on Thursdays is I started doing these collage pieces, looking at all the collage scraps that I've had and creating images from them. And I found these cards. Well, I had these cards, and I was using watercolor paper, but I started using these, and I really like using them. So you can join me on Thursdays. I usually post on Instagram and my Patreon, and even YouTube. I do a little short on YouTube, so you can have a look and play along every Thursday. It was inspired by, there's two artists, one Shemi Dixon, and I'll leave her link, and Sean Petit. Sean does a regular Thursday, and she calls it, I'll leave the details, she calls it like, you know, using up your stash basically, something like that, but it begins with a C. And Shemi Dixon always does a lot of, you know, lovely collage pieces on a regular basis on her YouTube and Instagram. So I'll leave the links for both of them. Okay, so thinking again, back to thinking about the word delight. Think about, this is a question for the week, but it's something that you need to ask yourself on a regular basis. And that is, what does your 5-year goals look like? Some might say, well, do you know what? With the way things are going, I can't even think past this week. But you have to have some aspirations as to what you would like to do. And, you know, 5 years seems like a long way, but the reality is it isn't. I mean, we're at the end of 2021. How crazy is that? How crazy is it that, you know, 2 years of our lives have been shared globally, and we've all gone through a global events. And so think about 5 years and then work back. You know, what do you want to do next year? You know, don't look at what the situation is. Don't look at what you currently have, or, you know, the situation you're in. What would you like to do? And make a list. And then look and see what things you can work towards. You know, it could be that what you need to do is go and study, or it could be that you need to pay off your debts, you know, and that might mean, you know, getting a different job or getting another job. It could be that you ask somebody if you could mentor them. You know, it first starts with that question, well, what can I do? Or what do I want? And what could I do? Now, saying, and that's where the affirmations comes in as well, you know, being clear and defining what it is. And I think you have to define the question, you know, what do I want? And it could be that saying, I want to be famous, what does that mean? How are you going to do that? You know, for some people it's just,
I just want to be famous. I just want to be known around the world.
For what? You could be infamous. But so I think if you look at those desires and things that you want, and start breaking them down, like there are small things I want, and I would like to be able to pay somebody to help me with my work. You know, that's an assistant. Now, maybe to start with 4 hours a week. Now, because my plate has become a bit more fuller, it's like I don't necessarily have the finances to pay somebody for 4 hours a week. But next year, you never know. Next year, there could be regular streams of income from one of my ideas. That means I now have the ability to do that. but it has to start with me having the desire to do that. You know, I want to travel next year. I want to, what else would I like to do? There's so much I'd love to do with where I live and the land that, you know, I'm a steward for. There's things I'd like to put in place. So it starts off with, what is the desire? Don't let it be vague. Let it be, you know, clearly defined. How are you going to feel when this happens? What is it specifically you want to put in place? You know, I'd like to own land. I'd like to, you know, be able to sow I want loads of fruit trees and this food forest. It's, you know, it starts with a seed and a pot. So now I've got, if you come over to my Creative Gardener YouTube channel, you'll see what I've been doing with the land that I've been stewarded, to not only, I'm looking out there because it's that's where I can see the garden from here, but it started with the desire. I saw a video of this man he may have been in Costa Rica. He was a Portuguese man, and he was talking about cassava, of all things. But I had started getting into, you know, permaculture and things like that. And he was talking about, you know, from the cassava growing, he, you know, pulled it up and then fermented it and made these flat pancakes. And I was blown away. I was just like, oh my gosh, that's what I want to do. And the first place we moved to had like a 9x3, and it was in a triangle. It was 3 feet at its biggest point, and it was 9 foot long. So it was like a little triangle filled with gravel, and I started buying some soil and just putting it in there. I went on a gardening, a kitchen organic gardening course at the Andromeda Gardens. I'll leave a link. And I'll leave a link to, I did a little video of it. And it was wonderful. I scoured the internet for videos on permaculture and gardening. I didn't find much on like gardening on a slope. I devoured so much content. And here I am now with knowledge of a variety of trees and plants and medicinal plants, and being able to use them, and, you know, eco-dyeing and dyeing with flowers and clay, and it's just from that one desire, this has now blossomed, and it's going even further because I'm going to be starting a new, oh gosh, yeah, so there's a delight for me. I'm going to be starting a new series. It's coming up, and I will be leaving details maybe before the end of December. I'll be leaving details. So, but a new series on my Creative Gardener channel. So I'm really looking forward to share. So you'll have to join me on my Creative Gardener channel as well as this one. Just remember, if you've not yet subscribed and you've got this far, please do think about subscribing. So think really about what your 5-year goals are, and then break it down and work back to, okay, so next year, these are the things that I need to put in place. Because if my 5-year goal is that, then next year, even today, tomorrow, I'm going to have to do these things. And if you break it down like that, you'll achieve every single one of your goals that you write down. Okay, so we're going to be putting some courses in the spotlight, and I'll leave the links for all of them. There's several courses that I'm teaching on this year, and it's fantastic to be amongst so many inspiring artists. So we've got Book of Days, we've got Book of Days, we've got the one Badass art journal course, and we've got creative Jumpstart. So they've all got discounts on their prices, so all the links will be in the description below for you to check out. What else is there? There's my course. I've got some courses. Come onto my come onto my courses school. I've got a school now, and the Fill in Your Creative Well course, you can pre-order it. It does. You can pre-order it and get it at its discount price. So look forward to having you join the course and check out some of the other courses. And I'm excited. See, it's one of those things that I would say 2 years ago, I never imagined me having my own course, and it wasn't until where are we now? The beginning of this year, that it just clicked, and it was just like, you need to have your own course. You need to kind of put that together. And so I invested in myself, in the course platform, and here I am with my third course on the way, and I've got so many ideas for other courses. There's not enough time in the day for me to yet work on them. So I've become better organized and focused on what I need to do now, because what I would have done in the past is try and launch all these courses and try and work on them all at the same time, and it was just like, it's not possible. Focus on this one first. And I was struck by how I underestimated how much I wanted to put in this course. So you are gonna be in for a treat. But yeah, having my own course platform was one of my dreams, and it was my dream at least 10 years ago. But I never saw how it would have been possible. No, it was even more than that. 15 years ago, I started putting together, and I really have to find it. It's on a list somewhere. I had all the books that I brought, all the art books that I brought, and I tried to put together a learning schedule for myself. So going through these courses, what I would learn and all of this kind of stuff. But now I've got my school, I can put all the things that I've wanted to learn myself, all the things I've wanted to learn but haven't yet found the course out there for it. And yeah, I'm really excited to have you on the journey should you choose to join me. Okay, so for the stitched piece, I'm not actually going to be stitching a piece today. Throughout the month I will expand on this, but I thought I would share this and show how I would move it forward. So recently I shared a video. I'm not sure actually whether you've seen that I shared it with my patrons, and so I'm not sure whether I've yet shown you the video of me making these, but I will be during this week. Probably next week you'll see. We'll try and make that happen. Anyway, so I created these with stencils and then glitter glue that I had left over, and so I've created some of these on just white. It was a white shirt and I've cut it up, and the stencil I used on here was a grid pattern, and I actually quite like that, and I did variations of, and then just a simple this is a double stencil, so I laid down the first design and then put one over on top. This is a piece of fabric that has been painted, So it's been painted with fabric paint, and then I've done some lines and marks on them. It's not all of the marks. Ooh. So that's this one. One of the things I'm going to do is cut these up into smaller bits, and I'll cut a few of them up, and then that then adds as an inspiration, you know, to work on, to actually start working on the fabric. As I say, I haven't been creating on fabric for a while, but I really do want to get back. So what I would do would just be to cut smaller bits out. I mean, this is the neck of the shirt, and so I would need to cut smaller bits from it anyway. So I'm just going to cut, and it actually cuts quite nice. The fabric stiffened up with the glue, and so it's actually come out quite nice. So just cut in small bits like this. Now if you want to get back into your fabrics and just not sure what to do, sometimes a simple project just like this is, you know, is one that will get you back into the swing of things. Just, you know, preparing elements. And so the other thing that I would prepare is the backing. So these wouldn't be what I would then put something over it. I would use these as like a focal piece and stitch this onto another surface. So I'm going to do there's a natural, I could use these for tags. I could either write or stitch words. It's just like, it's very simple, but it's reintroducing me to fabric that I'd worked on. And one of the next things I could do is, I mean, this could even be like on a 5x7 panel, and I could find some beads. I've got some beads this colour that would look nice. Okay, so that's one of the things that I would do to this fabric, moving it on to the next stage. Ooh, let's just do this one as well. There, so I've got several pieces now that I can put in the to be stitched pile. I like these little elements as well. And I'll put this one back over here. So, and I'll come back to this one another time. But I just wanted to, sometimes that's all it takes to inspire you to work with your fabrics. Some you might not need inspiring, but I've been doing so many other things that it's just like, this was always kept on the back burner. Not because I wanted it to. I love doing stuff with stitch projects, but then you develop so many bits that you think, oh, I could use all of these. But these are nice pieces that I like the way these ones turned out. Is that it for another month? No, that's not. Right, so there's a couple of things I have to remind you about. I used to do this thing called Creative Encourager, and I'm going to resurrect it. So Creative Encourager, you get up to 2 free half-hour sessions, and it could be that you want to talk about your journey, where you want to see yourself. And I think it's key, especially around this time, because again, being isolated, sometimes you need somebody to bounce an idea off. So you get 2 free half hours, or you roll it into 1 hour session, and you can chat with me totally free, complimentary. And if you want to schedule some other dates, then we'll look at what then you want to put in place. So Creative Encourager will start. I'll be putting out the dates this week. So if you pip to the post, you can schedule your time. And
are you creative? Do you want to get some advice tailored to your specific needs? Then you need a creativity coach. Join me, Amanda Trought, the Creative Encourager, and sign up to the mailing list and get your 2 free 30-minute sessions.
Change, that's another thing. And that's where, when you think about the plans you put in place to finish, when you think about the plans that you need to put in place, it starts with the idea. It starts with the desire. What do you want to happen? So think about your life. Think about the word delight. Think about, what do you want? What do you want for your life? Where do you see yourself in? Even in 6 months, if you can't think about 5, if you can't think about what's happening next week, thinking about 5 years' time is going to be a real challenge. But put down some of these really big goals, and just sit on it for a bit, because you never know, it could be achievable. You could be thinking to yourself, oh no, I couldn't possibly do that. I couldn't achieve that. But you never know. So start with, if the 5 year is a challenge, so you've got the 5 years, 4, 3, 2, 1, 6 months, 3 months, next month, next week. You get the picture. So look forward to hearing from you. Please leave a comment, and if you are not yet subscribed, please subscribe and click on the notification bell. And I look forward to hearing from you, and seeing you soon. Take care.